Hello, my name is Travis. I'm with Madrona Log Homes. We do chinking and log home restoration in Washington State. Here's a home that we've restored last month. We're back here chinking it now. The yellow color is not the chinking color, that's spray foam. But thought we'd make this video to show you guys how we do chinking. So here's a gun that I prefer. It's an Albion, Teflon coated, 29 ounce. Air compressor hooks up to it, so air assist. Custom copper tip, very easy to make here. What we do there is just take a little threaded fitting, sweat the pipe on there, and at the end you want to kind of bevel it like that, if you can see that. That goes on nice and smooth. I believe this is a 1/2 inch pipe. And then get all the adapters that you need to go onto the Albion tip here and screw her in. So we've already got this gun loaded. We'll show you how we load it after we're done applying. Let me show you how we apply it. So go to the flat part over here. So this is a full scribe home. It's about 20 years old. We don't need backer rod in between. It's done settling. It moves a little bit. If this were a new construction, I would hold off on chinking for a couple of years, let the home settle before we do any chinking. But now we're not going to worry about backer rod. It's so tight right here. Anywhere that we have gaps here, we like to chink around the trim. We spray foam in, let it dry a little bit, and then tamp it in nice and smooth. Then let it dry, which we'll get to. But here's how we apply. Nice and smooth and flat. And you can see with the right tip, the right touch, it'll go on nice and smooth. So I'm keeping it, I'm not angling it up this way, I'm not angling it down, I'm keeping it nice and parallel and at about 45 degrees this way. Sometimes you'll hit an air bubble in here and it might blow up. I'll show you that. I'm going to turn the tube, go this way, start in the corner, put a little dollop in the corner, and keep coming. You can see with the air gun, there's no runoff. Like with the snorkeler or the Kodiak chink pump, those are great machines, but there's runoff and you have a little valve, and I like this a lot better. It's a lot more mobile. So we'll go here. And then for a corner, like I said, put a little dollop in the corner and bring it down. Go this way with it. I'm not going to do that yet because there's a big gap, which will foam. But we'll start here. Come on down. There's no gap here, so we'll bring it out. Nice and smooth. Give this a little bit of fill. I'll show you what we do with that here in a minute. So we're out of product. Let's show you how we fill it. So this here is called a bulk loading machine. It's a funny little contraption, but it's pretty nice. So we screw the gun on here, nice clean threads. Alright, and then we just go like this. And watch the plunger here. It'll rise. Boom. If you have a helper who's currently filming, this goes pretty quick, because I would be working or tooling the chinking down while he's filling. And and this prevents any air bubbles. So this, you could, with the follow plate, pull it up, but it's very difficult, and you get the air bubbles. So this kind of compresses it all nice and even, and it's a lot easier. So we'll go to here, it's full. I'll back off on it. Unscrew. And then what I do, we keep a bucket of water in a rag, just kind of keep it clean. Okay, that's the step. Clean the tip here, clean the inside threads, and then screw it back together. So let me show you how we work it, or tool it. So we've got a bucket of water, and I use these brushes. They're Gen Manufacturing. They have a little plastic guy inside. They hold it pretty well. So keep it nice and damp, but not too wet. We can go over here and just very lightly work it. And what I tell people is when you're working the chinking, you want to focus on the bottom edge and the top edge. So you want them parallel, and then you want the middle nice and flat. So I kind of go on the bottom here, I'm kind of tilting the brush a little, and just getting that nice bottom edge, nice and crisp, clean, smoothing it out. You can see here I got a little bulge, so I'll kind of cut it a little on the top, and then just kind of work it in. I don't need to use a spray bottle or anything, which is fine, you know, for using a knife, which also works great. I just prefer this. So we're sealing the top edge, sealing the bottom edge. That's real important for it to adhere properly. You want to set the bead nice and tight. So top edge, bottom edge, working it over. Of course, this is pretty easy on the horizontals. It's when you get up in here that's a little bit tricky. So what I'll do is I'll clean the brush off, get in the water, rinse it out, boom, boom, and you just want to kind of play with it a little bit, push it into place a little. Okay, and then we'll start coming over to it. So you can flip the brush around a little. And same thing, top and bottom edge. You'll see I got a little build up there, so we'll just kind of play with that a little, work it in. Maybe go the other way a little. It's kind of hard to talk about what you're doing. You just do it normally. So I just rinsed off the excess, keep it kind of clean. Now it's not too damp. I also like this wristband, it keeps the water from going down your arm. But just kind of work it in nice and smooth. I don't know if, can you see that?
Yep.
All right. Kind of tricky doing it this way. So I would say that this is easier than the knives on the corners, in my experience. Get them a little bit smoother. Another thing to note is residue. So this is stained with Sashco Capture, so it's pretty smooth and nice to work on, but if you have a rough surface, you get a lot of residue. You can see some residue there, so I'll just take a clean brush and kind of on edge, kind of clean that residue up there, like that. And if you keep clean water, it'll dry clear. So let's go over here. And it's kind of warm today, so you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself and let it set up. You want to do enough to where you can still work it, or use the spray bottle and keep it damp. So top and bottom edges, and then go back over in the middle. So we got a big glob there, so I'll just kind of work it back that way, work it this way, maybe take some out right there, rinse it off in my bucket, which needs to be changed. This would be time to get clean water. So bottom edge there, top edge. Work it up in there. The product is Sashco Capture, Sashco Log Jam, wood tone cedar. Permachink is great too. I've never used, I forgot the Weatherall, never used that. I hear it's great though. Weatherall is stiffer, so it's easier to work. It's probably the easiest to work, what I've heard, but it's not as elastic, so it's a bit of a trade-off. Sashco is on the runnier side. It's the most difficult to work, but it's the most elastic. So Permachink's kind of a nice balance. I do like working with a Permachink a little bit more, but it's a trade-off. So if you have a brand new construction home, you might want to go with Sashco because it's going to be a little bit more elastic. But this home, it's done moving. It moves a little bit, but not much. Now let me show you kind of like this over here. I ran out of product here, so we'll have to put more on, but you can kind of get it up in there, smooth it out. If you got a bunch of excess, you just want to scrape it like that, put it in your bucket, and then see all that residue, you just want to clean it up, just like that. And that'll dry nice and clean. So we'll go back and fill that a little bit more. Around the corner there, just kind of tamping it. Also on a warm day, this stuff is just really pretty runny, so it's a lot more tricky. You'll get a lot more residue, but good stuff. And then we'll just kind of leave this right there to continue down and take a look at everything. Looks pretty good. So again, if you're looking at it, you can never get it perfectly flat because the logs aren't perfect, but you want them pretty parallel, the top line and the bottom line. You don't want them going like this, which is a common mistake. You see a little bit here where it kind of goes out and then in a little and then out again. So you want to kind of smooth that in and even it up. But again, it's hard to do because the logs aren't perfectly uniform. That one's a little better here, but and then you want to keep it flat all the way around. You don't want any bulging out like that or in. You don't want concave. So yeah, oh, and then the foam, see here now it's not totally hardened. It's been like 10 minutes. So we'll just kind of take that, tamp it in nice and smooth like that. Up here. And then I'll show you how we squirt that in there. This is just from Home Depot. It's a pro gun. Highly recommend the gun. Don't do the little straw things. You'll get it everywhere. I'll shake it up. And like a gap like this, see that, Aaron? You want to just usually have a rag too. We go up in there. Very gentle. You don't want to get too much. And this is the window and door, so it doesn't expand too much. So up in there. Gap there so we can fill it. And then like something on the window like this, here we'll do this door. We'll just squirt it up in there. Hopefully no bats are in there. Then we'll come down here. Really hard not to make a mess, but if you're gentle with it and have a rag and keep that tip clean, it's pretty easy. Keep it nice. Alright. I know there's products you can buy that are like foam to go in there, and I think that's just so much time. If you do this right and do it cleanly, you can get the same results. Or you can use backer rod, that's fine too. So we'll let that set up for about 15 minutes, tamp it in. Don't get it on your hands, it's really sticky. If you do, use a little acetone and it comes right off. So yeah, that's how we chink here in Washington. I'm Travis from Madrona Log Homes. It's our first video, so cut us some slack. That's all we got. So thank you.